Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be how to list on Poshmark for beginners from beginning to end, the whole process for someone who is just trying to sell their clothes out of their personal closet. So last Sunday I did a huge closet clean out video, which I did film and posted a video. I will link it up here in a card or something. And from that closet clean out, I now have 3 bags of clothes, not just bags, like 2 garbage bags and 1 huge oversized Goodwill bag filled with clothes that I no longer want and I need to get rid of. And because I am a full-time reseller, I decided I would just film the process of me going through my clothes and teach you guys, for those of you who just kind of want to make a little bit of extra cash on the side, how to list your clothes on Poshmark. It is so easy, and this video is going to be long, so you're going to be like, what, if it's so easy, why is your video so long? I haven't filmed it yet. I'm just assuming it's going to be long, and that is because I have been a reseller for 3 years now, so I have like accumulated so much like tips and tricks and knowledge that I just want to pass on to you guys, so that when you first start selling on Poshmark, you're making quick sales, you're getting what your item is worth, and that it's an enjoyable process, an easy process, and all of that. Okay, so the first step in the selling on Poshmark process is going through those bags of clothes that you no longer want and determining which of those clothes you are actually going to be listing on Poshmark. So I would say the first question you should ask yourself is, how much money do you want to make per item? Do you want to make $5 per item? Do you want to make at least a minimum $10 per item, $15 per item? Because that is going to determine what clothes that you have that you're actually going to list. Because if you want to make minimum $15 per item, I wouldn't recommend selling any of your mall brand clothes, like your Forever 21 clothes or Target clothes or Walmart clothes, whatever you may have that's a like cheaper mall brand. If you want minimum $15 from each sale, I wouldn't list those. I would just put those to the side. So yeah, determine what you want your price, or not your price, but you want your payout to be, because Poshmark does take a 20% fee, and if it's $14 and below, they take $2.95 as a flat rate. So if you sell something, say for $7, you're gonna get $5.05 in payout. So determine what the minimum payout you want is, and that also, like, this doesn't all include shipping discounts, which is like another thing, but honestly, just don't worry about that right now. Just decide what the minimum payout you want is, and we'll go from there. Okay, then when you're going through the clothes, check for any signs of wear. This can include on skinny jeans, especially if you sell Paige, if you own Paige jeans. They have a really bad issue with puckering on the front of them, and also I've noticed this with some American Eagle jeans I find at the thrift store as well. They will have puckering on the front by the zipper area, so make sure you are looking out for that. If you're looking for jeans, that's an example of wear that maybe if I saw something like that, I wouldn't list it on Poshmark. Another sign of wear is pilling, which minor pilling is okay, but if it's so pilled and that's the reason you got rid of it, maybe you didn't get rid of the shirt because you didn't like it anymore, but you just thought there's too much wear and pilling on it. Well, guess what? Somebody else isn't going to want that shirt either because it has too much wear on it. So that is another sign. And then also underarm discoloration is also a huge thing. And if you're selling jeans, again, check the hems on your jeans too to make sure there's no scuffing or flaws on the end. And also make sure if you are selling pants and stuff that you haven't altered them or hemmed them in any way, which you could still sell them if you did, but you would have to include measurements in your list. And then after you check for those signs of wear, another thing to look out for is any flaws that your item may have. This includes stains, rips, tears, holes. I mean, those all are kind of the same thing. If it has beading on the piece or sequins, make sure all the beading and the sequins is intact. If it has embroidery on the piece, make sure the threading is in good condition and that there's no like loose threads or missing parts of the embroidery or whatever it may be. And again, as you're going through the items, just kind of try to determine if it's going to have the value you want. The way to determine value is by checking comps, which is also called comparables. That's what it's like short for. And that you do, I will show you kind of later in the listing process when we're doing pricing, how to check comps. But just kind of as a general rule, if it is a like if you didn't pay too much for the item, you're probably not going to get too much for it. If it's more of an expensive brand and you did pay more for it, you're probably going to get more for it. But that's just a very big generalization, because if you bought something for like $1,000, that does not mean you're going to get $800 in resale value out of it. But it does mean more expensive items, or you'll probably get a little more money for, less expensive items, less money for. Pretty basic ideas, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so with that pile of clothes you decided is not worth selling on Poshmark, there are two things you can do with these clothes. So I would suggest for the flawed items and too much wear items to bring to a clothing recycle bin if you have the ability to do so. So much better to put your damaged items there, because if it's too damaged for you to wear, if the fabric has too much wear for you to wear, even at a thrift store price, someone's not going to want it because it's just junk. They're not going to be able to use it. Why buy something you can't use? So from there, it's just going to end up in a landfill anyway. So I just suggest trying to get it to a clothing recycle place, because the more clothes we keep out of the landfill, the better. Okay, and then the next side of that is the clothes that you don't think have any value. Again, your Forever 21, your H&M, your Aeropostale type of clothes. Those clothes you can just take to Plato's Closet and they will buy them, and you can make a little bit of cash that way. You can send them to ThredUp if you have more of a career wear style, or like a more adult style and you're selling more like a loft or something, and Ann Taylor that might not have a really good resale value. You can take your clothes to Clothes Mentor, which is geared more towards adults, whereas Plato's Closet is geared more towards teens and young adults. So yeah, don't worry, you can still make money on those clothes, and I'm going to talk about that at the very end of this video, because some of my clothes are also going to be going to Plato's, so I'm going to show you guys the process of me taking them and how much money I get paid out from there. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about the clothes that you do think is worth your time selling on Poshmark. So the first step, before we photograph them, we want the clothes to look presentable. And so that basically just means you don't want them to be wrinkled. You want to make sure they look nice when you're hanging it up, or however you decide to do it. So you can de-wrinkle them a couple of ways. If you have a steamer, I have like a big professional steamer. I don't know how common those are for people who aren't resellers, but if you have one, that is my favorite way of de-wrinkling items. You can also iron items. I don't own an iron, but you know, you can iron them if you want. Or if you don't own an iron and you don't own a steamer, like I did before I was a reseller, didn't own any of those things, I just threw my clothes in the dryer, which you guys can do too. Throw them in the dryer, de-wrinkle them that way. Now, so if you're choosing to do the dryer method, which is something I don't typically do as a reseller, but for the purposes of this video, I am going to put my clothes to the dryer, because this is all about how to do it as a beginner, someone who doesn't have all the professional equipment. So while you're putting them in the dryer, determine where you want to take your photos. So you really want a white background. There's a lot of people on Poshmark that have busy backgrounds, or just like really like colorful backgrounds, or maybe you're putting it on like your pink blanket or something, and I don't recommend that at all. Actually, something I've heard from reseller YouTube, now I don't have any evidence to back this up, I'm just simply repeating something that I have heard told on that side of YouTube, is that if you have a white background for your items, that it will appear higher in the Google image search. So Poshmark actually does a lot of SEO for you through Google, and when you post an item on Poshmark, say you're posting a Marc Jacobs red dress, right, with like a huge bow on the front, and someone types in Google Marc Jacobs red dress with bow on front, your listing will show up in Google Images, and they say, again, this is me just repeating something I've heard, more like a rumor, if it has a plain white background, it will rank higher in the Google Images. So there's that. And plus, as a buyer, it's so much easier to see an item of clothing, especially if it's like a patterned item of clothing, up against a white solid wall and not a like busy wallpaper wall or like a hot pink blanket or whatever. So determine where you want to take your photos. Do you want to hang them on the wall? This is going to probably require you putting a nail in your wall to hang the hanger on, so just, you know, be cautious of that. Or you can flat lay the item. I personally don't love to do flat lays, but again, if you're a beginner and you don't have a whole photography setup, a flat lay is a perfectly fine way to photograph your items. I just recommend doing it on a white sheet or a white blanket, and not just like thrown on the floor or something. So yeah, and if you don't have a white wall, again, you can hang up a white blanket on your wall, and then there you go, boom, white wall to photograph your set. But again, that could be a little complicated because you have to nail the white blanket in the wall, and then you have to nail another thing inside the blanket, so you're gonna put a hole in it so that you could hang the hanger. So maybe a flat light is the best way to go. And for lighting, you want to make sure you have good lighting. So you want to pick a place where you're going to be able to get natural sunlight in, because you probably don't have big umbrella lights like I have for my thing, because why would you? So yeah, you're going to want to pick an area where you're going to get natural sunlight, and you're not going to want to, so that would probably segue into the next part. You're probably going to want to photograph them during the day, not at night, so you can get that really nice sunlight for your pictures, so that will show the true color of your item. Okay, so now that you have chosen your photo setup area, you're going to want to take your clothes out of the dryer, and either if you decide to hang your clothes, I would hang them immediately, or if you decide you're going to do a flat lay, what I would do is I would just like lay out all the items kind of like on top of each other, so they're all laid out and nice and not going to get wrinkled. And now we're going to get into the photography of the items. So again, first things first, you want natural sunlight to shine on your items. The next tip I have for photography is, while you're taking your photos, make sure you are taking your photos in square mode on your iPhone. Okay, so this shirt right here is an excellent example of something that you like think is fine, but then once you get it under lights or natural lighting, again, I'm using my like umbrella lights, but if you get it under natural lighting, or like I'm having under these lights right now, I can see, oh, there's actually some underarm discoloration that I didn't notice under just like regular lighting. So now seeing that, I'm not going to be selling this item, because Poshmark, like all their pictures are in square mode on the app. So if you take a full size picture, you're gonna have to crop it, and it's just gonna be then you might cut off part of your item, or then you might have to like resize the photo like an Insta size or something, and then there's gonna be these huge white borders on it. So just make your life easier and take your photos in square mode. Okay, typically the order I like to take my photos in is I will hang up the item, and then I will take a picture of the whole front of the item. Then I will take a picture of a close-up of the top half of the item, a close-up of the top bottom of the item, and again, this is all on the front side. Top half, top bottom, close up. Then I will take any cool detail pictures that I see on the front. If it has some cool beading, if it has a cool pattern, if the sleeve cuff is like a roll tab sleeve or something, I will make sure to highlight that in my photos. And then I will turn the item around and then photograph the back of the item. And then some other photos you should include the brand and size tag, which is usually around the neckline area. And then I would also recommend photographing the material tag. You can photograph where it says machine wash and all that if you would like to. You don't have to. I personally don't, but I always make sure I photograph what material the item is. Before I photograph the material tag, that was a comment I got quite frequently. What material is this made out of? And then you have to go back and you have to look, and it gets annoying. So it's easier just to photograph it and be done with it. Our items, I just airdrop mine to my computer, and I put them into little folders like this. So I have all the pictures right here. You don't have to do that. You could just keep them in your downloads if you want, and like upload them that way. I just find this to be a lot easier and like a lot more organized. So yeah, I just have all these ones here, and now we're just going to list. So all right, now I am on the Poshmark homepage, and we're just going to go right here where it says sell on Poshmark. Okay, so now that we clicked on this, we'll wait for it to load. So first, if you have any drafts, they will appear here, and we're just gonna start uploading photos. So I actually just did this dress, so we're gonna go on to the next one, which is this cloth and stone top. I just press this one, I press shift, I hit the last one, it selects all of them, and it opens. And as you can see here, you can upload up to 16 photos. Okay, so now when I clicked on this, or when I when they all disappeared here, I gave me the option to apply a filter. I should have stopped on that for a minute, because do not apply any filters to your photos, because you don't want to distort the color of the item, because it can make it easy for someone to open up a case against you if they were expecting the item to be one color and the filter kind of altered that and it's now appearing as a different color online. So yeah, don't use their filters. I really don't know why they have them there. Okay, so these are their photos. You can see that I took one of the front, one of the back, one up and down, kind of like in closer detail. And then here my item did have a small flaw on it. It had a small run, so I just circled that in my photo, and I have it there, so I will note it in the listing. We have the brand tag here and then the material tag here. Okay, so first you have to create your title. So I have kind of a format for how I like to do my titles, and I kind of pulled up 2 examples of those. So first is this one, and this is if the item has a specific style name. So if it does have a specific style name, I always do brand first. So the brand for this is Spell in the Gypsy, and then the style name would go next if it has one. This is called the Celestial dress, so I just put Celestial here, and I like to put it with these little like characters here so that people kind of know that that is the style name of the dress. It does eat up characters, so you don't need them if you're running out of room, but yeah, because Poshmark I think only allows you to have 50 characters for your title, or maybe 60, but I kind of think it's 50. And then I will put the color, a detail about the dress, and then what article of clothing is it. This is obviously a dress. Now, one thing about this listing, I did use stock photos for it, which are kind of like a hot topic, I feel like, in the Poshmark community. A ton of people use stock photos. Technically, it's illegal. Technically, it is stealing. Like, you don't own the rights to these photos and you're using it to sell something. And if you were selling on eBay, I would advise you not to do it. But on Poshmark, they don't really care. They're pretty lenient. They don't really penalize you, so most people use them and it's fine. Okay. The next way I'll do my title is if it doesn't have a style name to it. So I'll just put my kind of format for that is just, again, the brand, next would come color, details about the top, sheer reptile snakeskin print, and then what type of item it is, and it is a blouse. So it would go in that order, like so. So here we have this cloth and stone top. So I'm going to type in cloth and stone because that's the brand. So cloth and stone, black and white plaid lace up back top. There we go. We use all of our characters and we pretty much accurately describe the top. So I'm going to copy and paste that into the description, and then I'm going to add more details. So things you want to think about are, what is the neckline? This is kind of like I would say a scoop neck. I don't know if I call it scoop neck. It's more of a round neckline. I wouldn't call it a crew neck and I wouldn't call it a scoop neck, so I'm just going to say round neckline. We have a chest pocket on the front, so chest pocket on front. If you want to mention the sleeve length, it is a long sleeve shirt. Let's see. Oh yeah, we want to mention the flaw. So I did circle this little flaw right here. So it'll be like small run on front, comma, circled in photos, period. There we go. And then I'm just gonna, yeah, keep all that the same. And I wouldn't mention the material in the description necessarily unless it's pretty desirable. This is just cotton and rayon. It's not very like special. But if say it was like an all silk top or something, I would probably put that in the description. I'm just gonna add the size, which I believe is a small. And then I just write offers welcome. You don't have to do that. I mean, it's really up to your preference. I just like to have that there. So there you go. There is my description. And then you just select your category. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a top. It's a blouse. We say it's a size small. Enter designer. Cloth and stone, and then you select your colors, and it's black and white, pretty even. This is like pretty new. I would say within the past 2 weeks kind of new, so I really haven't like explored it too much. I haven't really used it too much. I don't know how much of an impact it has on your ranking in the search results, because Poshmark is one of those apps that it will scan your description and your title for keywords, so I don't really see how this is necessary, to be honest. So I'm just gonna kind of actually we'll type some things in there. We'll do, oh, that's not how you spell plaid, boho And then sometimes it's sold Anthropology, this brand, so we'll type in Anthropology. There you go. All right, so you can put the original price. If you know the original price, you could put it. You don't have to. I always put 0. Some people put $9.99. My preference is just 0. And then you have your listing price. So the way you determine how much you're going to list an item for is Poshmark actually has suggested price down here, which again is fairly new within the past 2 weeks. If you do click on it, it'll show you like recent solds from Cloth and Stone. And honestly, these seem to be like pretty. I mean, they're showing you like, I don't know, like what are these listings from? I prefer, that's a really easy way to do it if you're trying to save time. I prefer just to type it in here. Plaid lace up back shirt. And see if anything, okay, so it's coming up, right? So here we have it. Let's look at solds this way. This way you can kind of get a little bit more accurate solds. Because we can kind of find the specific item and see what the specific item is selling for rather than just general Cloth and Stone shirts. I'm sorry if you can hear my computer fan. It's like overheating because it's like screen recording and listing at the same time and it doesn't know what it's doing. Okay, so here we go. Like $10, $12, $20, $22, $24, $19, whatever. They don't really have super high solds. I'll probably just list it around $25, I would say, which is kind of higher than this, but based on the comps and I'm going to be sending out offers on it, I don't really think that is too unreasonable. Down here, you can give discounted shipping if you want to. So you can either give no discount, which is what I usually do. I will send out discounted shipping when I do offers to likers, but not really in my standard listing, especially if I'm listing it kind of low at $25. But you can do $5.95, which takes $1.50 out of your earnings. So you do $4.99, or you can do free shipping. So shipping does cost $7.45 on Poshmark. So if you're giving them $4.99 shipping, I can't do math, but that's like $2 and change that you're taking out of your earnings. This is $1.50, and again, this is like the whole $7.45 out of your earnings, which when you're making $20 is kind of a big chunk of that. So I never do that, again, unless I'm doing offers to likers. Okay, so now I'm ready to list the item. Everything's done. So all I do is hit next and then list this item, but I'm pretty sure if you hit cancel, this is how you're able to save it as a draft. So you can hit save draft, which we're gonna do just so I can kind of show you how to list your draft. Okay, so then it brings you back to the home screen. So if for whatever reason you don't need to like pause and like do the listing later, whatever, you can always save it that way. And then you just go back to the Sell on Poshmark tab again, and it will have your draft up here when it loads. Okay, so it has your draft. You just click on it. Again, it'll bring you to the original screen with all the information. And then I'm just gonna hit update and then list this item. And then lastly, I'm just gonna go to my closet, which isn't really necessary after you list every item, but I just wanted to go to my closet to show you guys, hey look, it's listed and it's right here and now it is for sale. So yeah, that is how you list your items on Poshmark. Okay, so now that your item is listed, Poshmark is not just a list it and forget it type of site. They like to keep you on the app and interacting with everything. So what you have to do after you list your item, every day I would recommend sharing your closet. So this just means that you are sharing your item not only to your followers, but you're also sharing it so it'll rank better in search results. So the way Poshmark search results work is they go by when the last item was shared. Now you can filter the items by just in, and some people will do that, but Poshmark will automatically have it at just shared. So if you have, say, a Lucky Brand black maxi dress, okay, and that's what you listed, and you listed it at 5 p.m. Well, if and it's at the top of the search results, right? Well, about 100 other people just listed a Lucky Brand black maxi dress, and now yours is all the way at the bottom because they just listed it, right? Or they just shared theirs or listed theirs, whatever. Now that pushes yours farther and farther to the bottom. So now you share it and it brings you right back to the top. So sharing your closet is super important. I always just recommend 3 times a day. I think that's the most efficient. I pay someone to do it at this point, but Usually, like, I would share it at the morning, I would share it in the afternoon, and I would share it at nighttime. Okay, so another quick tip I kind of have for you guys is sending out offers to likers. I would say a good majority of my sales come from offers to likers. Let's face it, Poshmark has a high shipping rate. So a lot of people expect you to send out an offer. So you can send, well, Poshmark makes you take 10% off your listing price. So if you have something listed at 20, the minimum amount, well, not the minimum, but like you would have to send it out for at least $18. And then you have your discounted shipping options. So you can either ship it for discounted shipping at $5.95, $4.99, or just do free shipping. I do $5.95 shipping because that's only $1.50 out of my earnings. If you do $4.99 shipping, it's like $2 and something out of your earnings. And if you do free shipping, you're taking that whole shipping cost, which is like, I don't even know what it is at this point, but it's like over $7. $7 out of your profits, which is a lot of money, especially if you're selling something, say, like at $18, right? That's like pretty much your whole payout. Well, it's like half your payout. So you would never want to do free shipping on something like if you're sending out an offer for $18. But yeah, so you could just kind of pick based on how much money you want to make, what shipping discount you want to send out. But I always recommend sending out shipping discounts. That's what we call offers to likers, and trust me, it'll make you a lot of sales. Okay, so now that your item has been photographed and now that it has been listed, you can finally ship the item. So, well, once it sells, you can ship the item. So what you're gonna wanna do, well, first I recommend, after you list all your items, either go to USPS in person, or you can go online as well and do this. You can order free packaging from the USPS website, or you could just grab it, like I said, in the like actual post office itself. They usually have it there, and you can just take as many as you want, and you can get this packaging and bring it home so that you have it for when your item sells. And the packaging you're going to be using is priority mail packaging. So Poshmark has a deal with USPS where you're allowed to use their priority mail packaging, their flat rate packaging, for your Poshmark sales. So typically like medium boxes, like the padded flat rates, the big envelopes, they all have different price points, but Poshmark has made it so easy for you because it doesn't matter, you can use it all, except do not use the Blue Express packaging. There's priority mail packaging that's red. I'll be inserting photos and all this. There's priority mail packaging that is red, and then there's priority mail packaging that is blue, and that is express, and do not use that one. You are not authorized to use that with the shipping label. I don't know what happens when you use it because I've never tried to, but I could imagine maybe Poshmark charges you maybe, or the item gets sent back to you. I have no idea what happens, but don't try it. And lastly, do not sell items if you do not have time to ship the items. It causes a huge inconvenience to buyers, and it makes people not like the app. It makes people look at the app like it's faulty and unreliable, and then they may not use it in the future. So again, just don't list items you can't sell.